back to back, and spinning on it back to back, on the turntables back to back, and spinning on it back to back, on it back to back and spinning on it back to back, on the turntables back to back, and spinning on it back, on the turntables back, on it spinning on it back to back, and spinning on it back to back, on the turntables back, spinning on it and spinning on the turntables back.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 6-year anniversary spectacular. Yes, 6 years of doing this channel. It's almost weirder to say that than 5 years, which 5 years obviously big milestone there, but that being half a decade, and now we're past a half a decade, which I think might be a little crazier. It's very crazy to say that I've been doing it for 6 years and that there's been 6 seasons, each with less videos than the last. Incredible. We've really reached record lows. 2 videos, 3 videos, whatever, man. We're really putting out, really putting out a lot of content. Channel's really been popping. But jokes aside, last year I only made the Persona 5 video, and this year was a bit more creatively fruitful, which was good. After the Persona 5 video came out, I wasn't doing great, but as time passed, I was able to get a bit of creative spark back. But yeah, basically, if you've never seen one of these videos before, basically I look back at the videos I've made over the past year, the past season, as it were, and basically go over, how the creative process of them, certain behind the scenes tidbits, certain things about them that I find interesting. And then after that, we'll be doing a Q&A segment, and that's it. That's really all these things are. It's fun. I like looking back at these things. So here we are for the 6th installment in the anniversary series, I guess. It's crazy. 6 years. Crazy. So the first video I made this past year was the Persona 3 Reload review. There's not a lot to say about this one. It's a pretty standard overview of the remake, and it's a perfectly good video. It's good. I don't really have too many negative things to say about it, but there's not a lot to say about it beyond that in terms of like making it. It wasn't super crazy, but I will say it was the first video that I made that got me out of that slump post the Persona 5 video. Not only was I just in a bad headspace past that video, but some not so great stuff happened around that time, and I was just like, what, I just want to make something, and Persona 3 was a perfect opportunity to do that. The script was a bit difficult to make, not because it's anything impressive. In fact, I think it's fine, but just like mentally, sitting down and writing it, it was a little like, getting back into it, because it had been like not quite a year, but several months since the Persona 5 video. But I was able to write something along with some feedback and help from a friend writing wise. I was able to get the video out, and yeah, it's a review. It's a review of the game. It's fine. It's well made. There's not a lot to it. But there is a comment from someone that I actually referenced in the video, Bubble Tea, one of my favorite Persona Mega 10 adjacent creators on YouTube. If you like Mega 10, you should watch his videos. Basically, he made a video on his second channel about I forget exactly what it was. I think it was just like advice for video essayists or reviewers starting out. And I left a comment basically giving my perspective, yeah, you should just be yourself and incorporate your personality, because those things are what is going to make you unique, and your video is unique, and you should lean into that. And I was talking about some other stuff as well, and he replied back, and we had a short little conversation. And I guess he checked out the channel and he watched both Persona 3 videos, because that is his favorite Persona game. and he had some kind words to give, so that was really cool. I was like, whoa, crazy. I don't know if you're watching this, but if you are, I really do appreciate it. It meant a lot to hear that you enjoyed the videos, and coming from you, that was very cool. The only other thing that I will say in regards to this video is that I do kind of see it as almost the end or send off of that kind of video. Just a simple kind of bare bones review. I just don't think I'm gonna do videos like that too much going forward. Like, it's fine, but it's just a little, I don't want to say bland, but it's not super like fun to like write and make and like look back upon. It's like fine, it's well written, but I think it's ironic. The channel's name is Rowe Reviews, but that's just because it's a catchy name at this point. Like, I haven't made like a formal review since I want to say like Sonic Adventure 2. But I would say that video is better than the Persona 3 Reload. Like, I don't know. There's got to be something else there beyond just, or I feel like there has to be something else there beyond just like, let's time to talk about this and evaluate this. And it's like, yeah, here's my thoughts of this, and I'm like explaining the game. That, I don't know. It's whatever. Now, something like the Persona 5 video, that's much different. That has like a thesis, and I like that. And those are pretty satisfying to make, you know, like long form video essays or analysis. Totally on the table. That's fine. But just like a 20-minute review, it's like, I don't know. I kind of just see that video as like, yeah, that's the last of that for the most part. I might be getting ahead of myself. I'm not sure. But yeah, I put the Persona 3 Reload video in Season 5 retroactively because it came out very shortly after the 5-year anniversary video, and it still retains the old aesthetic. It still has the old intro. It's made and presented in a way that is, you know, the older normal Rowe Reviews videos. But now we get to the educational media video. My biggest video yet, but we'll get to that later. This idea that I had of covering the educational media I used growing up is actually fairly old. There's a part later in the video when I'm talking about Edgenuity, and I use footage of a recording I did from 2021. So that year is, I think, how far back this idea goes. But originally, I think one of the earliest ideas was to actually film each section in the corresponding like classroom that I used that piece of media in. So like the computer lab or the library or whatever, which isn't a terrible idea, but like, number one, would they let me do that? And number two, I mean, memorizing the lines and like setting up the camera, lighting, that'd be a freaking nightmare. That'd be a nightmare. Like, I can barely set up my camera from my room and be happy with it. So to do that would drive me insane. Fun idea though, and the idea stuck in my mind for quite a long time. But eventually, you know, post this slump, I was like, man, I just want to make something fun. Let's finally do this idea. And it really began to like turn into its own. I think over time I had eventually like shifted the idea from like filming it in the school to filming it in my room, and switching back and forth between, you know, the footage and me, which isn't really something I had done before. This video is really the first instance where I'm on camera a lot for a scripted video. I think I did fine on camera for that. Like, I had practiced doing unscripted stuff many times before, which was good. I think if I hadn't done that, it would have been a lot rougher of a transition into that. Sonic had a rough transition to 3D. But then there's parts with me in front of the chalkboard. In terms of getting that chalkboard, I got very lucky. Big thanks to my grandma, who basically let me borrow that from her church. They just had it lying around, and it's very big and very old. It's pretty nice though. So I took a look at that and I was like, well, that's perfect. You know, it's the classic green chalkboard with the brown outline. It is on wheels. And also big thanks to my dad who helped me take it back to the house. I don't know what I would have done otherwise, because where the hell am I going to find a chalkboard? I have no idea. Like, obviously I was able to find some for sale online. That's another hassle. I think the only other option I would have exercised was I probably would have just asked my local schools and asked if they had one lying around. But if not, I don't know what I would have done. I'm not sure how that would have worked. I might have bit the bullet and bought one, but I'm not sure. There's also the artwork that my friend Josue did for the video, basically illustrating certain parts of the video that are memories that couldn't really show through video, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of do those in, like, you know, a story time video style. Basically, I asked my friend if he would be down to do it. He said yeah. I brought him over and I was like, this is kind of what I'm going for, and we sketched him out. I did some like storyboards, gave those to him to work on. The video overall did take a while, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of that was on me. Writing it was pretty easy though. Normally writing is very slow for me. This video is way more casual and lighthearted than like the Persona 3 Reload review. That's very dry and, you know, your normal review. This is like loose and I'm like joking about everything and I'm like making fun of it, and that's very fun. It was much more fun to write, and but filming it and, you know, getting the chalkboard and getting the artwork done, that all took a while. But part of the artwork taking a while was because the storyboard sketches I did were more literal. Like, I was just like, yeah, just do this, like what I drew here. But he took it as like, okay, that's the idea, I'm gonna like expand upon it. So there are certain drawings that have more detail than I intended. Mainly the one for when I'm like in class saying I did iReady over the summer. My original vision was literally just me sitting at a desk behind like a white background and then just a bunch of ha-ha-has like around me, nothing else, because I just wanted to keep it extremely simple. But he drew a whole classroom with kids and stuff, and there's a bunch of details in the background, which is great. It looks fantastic, but when I saw it I was like, oh yeah, that's not what I meant. You didn't have to do that, but you know, it worked out. That friend of mine is someone I've known for years, like ever since like early elementary school. So he used a lot of that same stuff that I did. Like, he was familiar with pretty much all of it. So it was nice having that connection through the artwork of someone that, you know, experienced the same stuff, because otherwise it would have just been me like being like, oh, there was this thing called nutrition day and there was this other stuff, and it's like, no, he was there. He was in those classrooms. He knew what it looked like. He knew what it was. So it was great having that connection. He's always been great at drawing, and that was really cool to have in the video. But yeah, in terms of the video itself, I'm a big fan. It's very fun. It's funny. Just nothing super serious, and that was just a great change of pace. You know, it was very nice writing something that wasn't as dry. The style of that video was definitely like influenced by, like, you know, some of those bigger commentary guys like Drew Gooden and Eddie Burback. When they talk about stuff, it's very like, obviously they're being sincere, but it's very fun, it's funny, it's entertaining. Like I really like what those guys have been doing, particularly Drew and Eddie. I think they've just been making bangers after bangers, you know, videos that are both thoughtful and fun. And I think that's very appealing to me now, and I kind of wanted to channel that a bit with the educational media video as well as the Toonami video, which I'll get into. Plus, it's just a funny topic, and it really resonated with people because, wow, this is by far my most successful video I've ever made. It's insane. Sailor Moon has 40K, which is pretty good. It's pretty good. But going from that to 150,000 is insane. And like, I don't know, like obviously I had the commentary video thumbnail with the yellow text. I don't know if that's what did it, but I don't know. like in the back of my mind, I thought maybe it could do well because it was just such a, ridiculous video. Like, it got to a point where it was getting a lot of views every day. And it was the first time where, like, every time I would open YouTube Studios, there would just be more comments. And I didn't read all of them because there were so many of them. But I think one common thing I saw in the comments was like, which most of it was, positive, people talking about the things they remembered and sharing what they use. Like, that's great. But there were some people that were like, oh, you forgot this, or you missed this, or you didn't talk about this. And I'm like, well, that wasn't really the point of the video. The point of the video was only stuff I used. It wasn't like a comprehensive history of educational media. That would be boring. The only thing that I would almost say that I quote unquote forgot or could have put in is probably Schoolhouse Rock, which are these very old like animated videos of songs about like English or history, things like that. I was not a big fan of them, but there was one instance, like if I did talk about it in the video, this is what I would have brought up. In middle school social studies, we were like learning about, I think, the preamble, the preamble of the Constitution. And there was a Schoolhouse Rock song of the preamble, like word for word, but like in a melody. Our teacher wanted us to memorize it, probably for like a test or something, but she would play this Schoolhouse Rock video every single day, probably multiple times per day, and it was horrible, terrible song. All of the Schoolhouse Rock songs are awful, and we would listen to this preamble song so much. But the sad part is that it worked. It worked perfectly. We all memorized it, we all remembered it, but the sad part is that I still remember how it goes to this day. Like, I'll just be minding my own business, and then all of a sudden, I'm thinking about the Schoolhouse Rock preamble song, and I'm like, why? I remember it. It's ridiculous. So after educational media came out, I started working on something that was very tonally different. I'm not going to say what it is because I think I might still make it at some point. It was a lot to talk about, and I kind of struggled to like get a grasp of the broader idea of the video. Like, I had a lot of ideas in my head, a lot of points, but getting them down into a coherent script, like I didn't get very far in it at all, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna move on now. And we get to the Toonami video, which, as of recording this, came out 4 days ago. I'm fresh off of it. This video was kind of one of those ideas that I actually kind of immediately acted upon, because a lot of the time it's like I have a bunch of ideas and then I only make like one of them until much later or never. But Toonami, I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's a good idea. I could do that right now, and I could make it into a similar style as educational media because that was very fun. But the kind of core idea of talking about my Toonami experience is actually a bit old, and it comes from a scrapped video that I don't think I ever publicly mentioned on the channel, but I finally will now because I don't think it will happen in that form for various reasons. But basically, a couple or a few years ago now, I began working on this behemoth of a video, basically a retrospective of Cartoon Network broadly. So like from the 90s to present day. I wrote a lot, like I still have the document. It's a lot of stuff. It's extremely long, but that one got too big for my britches. And a lot of the unfortunate things that have happened to Cartoon Network continue to make me upset, and it soured me on making the video because it couldn't have a very happy ending. But yes, basically it was like a retrospective of a ton of like significant Cartoon Network shows, and one of those sections is about Toonami. So some of that stuff kind of comes into this new Toonami video. There's one edit in the beginning of the video that is just literally just lifted from that script. So there are certain elements of that video that are old, but that's cool. It's cool that finally was able to have a place But yeah, I enjoy the video much for the same reasons I do educational media, except the big difference here is that it's just more sincere, it's more sentimental, because educational media, obviously a lot of it is dumb and stupid and I didn't like it and whatever, and you make fun of it. But a Toonami, that was like some genuine like love and passion for those shows and the memories I had with them. I think that's what makes it similar, is that they're very like memory based. They're very based in like these memories I have with these things and reflecting on them, joking about them. But in Toonami's case, it's more sincere, because you also have, you know, a bit of a more casual tone. I'm on camera more, I'm joking a bit. A lot of the stories are very funny. A lot of with just the One Piece flyer and being afraid of breasts. This Toonami video, it's got the highest percentage of breasts in a Rowe Reviews video. So, and I find that funny, because it is very funny to, you know, look back and laugh on those silly things. That stuff definitely added to the comedic value of the video. But I do think kind of balancing the sincerity and the joking, the casual nature, that's something that I would really like to lean into. There will still be more, I guess, in-depth videos that get at something, just with a bit more flair, a bit more personality. That's something that some people told me about the educational media videos, that it had more personality. It was more personality driven. And that's a big thing. That's great. That's something I would love to have in the channel, and I think that's kind of why I say the Persona 3 Reload video isn't a style I want to make, because it's not as personable. It doesn't have as big of a personality. But back to Toonami. But like with educational media, it was pretty easy to write. It came pretty naturally. I would say even more so because of that casual nature. It just flows out a bit better. Took me a bit to get around to filming because I got sick, and the initial filming I did the same, like I did it the same way as educational media, except the footage looks terrible, partially because of my camera settings, and also the lighting is terrible, and there was nothing I could do, and it was super grainy, and my hair was very shaggy and in my eyes, and it just looked awful. So I redid it and it looks way better. There were some things that were kind of like cut from the video as well, mainly just in the script. There were some parts where I talked about like drawings I did of these shows and characters. You know, that's very nice and it's fun, but it just didn't like flow super well in the script, and it just, I don't know, I thought it went better without it. But I might throw up some of the drawings on screen. They're obviously very crude and I kind of cringe at them. But it, you know, it was a big part of that, and like I kind of feel bad leaving it out, but at the same time it just didn't flow super well, because it was just kind of like, here's some drawings I did, and then that's it. And it's like, well, what do I say about it? But it was a big part of that time. But speaking of cringing at drawings, there were some parts in the video where like I'd be talking about like something that I did as a kid, whether it was like taking manga to school and like talking about it, or the Captain Smoker costume, which was very cool. But for some reason, when I look back at stuff like that, I do tend to cringe a lot. It's like, kid me. I don't like kid me. Kid me was cringe and annoying. Part of me wanted to have that in because as like a deprecation thing, I'm not really sure. But as I would write it and like read it back, it wasn't necessary, especially with the Halloween costume, because my family helped make that and they're a big fan of the costume, and it is a cool costume. It's very cool, it's fun. I did it, I loved the costume, and it was just a sweet thing to do on the end of my family. So to kind of be like, cringe kid dressing as an anime character no one's heard of, like that's stupid. I felt like cutting it was the more mature choice. One thing that I realized I could have included the other day that is actually very funny, and it kind of falls into that kind of falls into those ridiculous childhood stories, was you know, I was so like concerned of like the ratings of these shows and just being allowed to watch it. And like I said in the video, most of the episodes were rated TV PG. But sometimes I would wake up and I would, put on the latest One Piece episode or Naruto episode I had recorded, and sometimes they would be rated TV 14, and I was not 14. And keep in mind, this is kid me waking up at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and my parents were asleep when I got up. So if something was rated TV 14, I would literally go into my parents' room and wake up my mom and be like, this episode, it's rated TV 14, and is it okay if I watch it? It's just like, yeah, it's fine. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I was really like that, like, vigilant of all of that stuff. It was ridiculous. I would say the biggest thing that I cut or just didn't really go through with was back then, being obsessed with One Piece. I played these One Piece GameCube games. They were these 3D fighting games a lot. Like, I played them a lot. One Piece Grand Battle and One Piece Grand Adventure. I played Grand Battle more because I had it for longer, but I played some Grand Adventure. I don't have them anymore, unfortunately. I kind of wish I did, but they were like these three-dimensional fighting games, so not really Smash Bros, more like, I don't know, Power Stone, I guess. I've never played Power Stone, but kind of that style of like stage and fighting, like the way you move around. It's kind of like that. From what I remember, they were fun, and I'm sure it would have been very nostalgic to play. I might stream them or something. Like, I just ended up not writing about it. No particular reason, I just didn't really feel like it, I guess. Like, it would have been cool to include because it was a big part of that time for me, playing those games. Grand Battle, I think, was based more so on like East Blue stuff. Grand Adventure had like Skypiea stuff in them, which 4Kids did not dub Skypiea, and they dubbed those games. Like, if you play those games in English, it's the 4Kids dub, and they have like the 4Kids names, which is interesting. So I definitely would have brought that stuff up, but yeah, I just ended up focusing on the shows themselves. But yeah, I guess the last part I can talk about is having Pack Jeff in the video, which was very fun. Basically, years ago, Jeff had made a video about Toonami. It was the first thing I saw from them. It's not a fantastic video or anything, but it's how I found out about them, and it was nice to include them in the video, to have that. Like, basically the reason I got them in was because of that age difference of just, I watched it in the revival, they watched it in the 2000s when it was like a thing. So I thought it was cool to kind of have a bit of that different perspective. And that was basically the whole point of that conversation. But they said a lot of cool stuff. I thought they kind of said some things that I think served the video pretty well. There's a part where they talk about not really knowing what's going on in these shows, but you're just like glued to the TV, you're obsessed. That right there is really what the video gets at. It's just like, for me, I didn't know anything about these shows initially, but they just blew me away, and I just was just obsessed with them. Like, it was all I could think about was Naruto and One Piece. Yeah, like, that's really the whole core of the video, is just that connection. Because like I said in the video, without Toonami, I wouldn't have watched anime when I did. And, oh, I almost forgot. During the video's production, Pack Jeff went to an anime convention, and Steve Blum was there doing a meet and greet, and Steve Blum is the voice of Tom. So I jokingly told Jeff, like, hey, you should tell Steve Blum about the video, and they did. And Steve Blum basically said something along the lines of like, hell yeah, I love that people keep Toonami alive. Its spirit will live on as long as people are talking about it. So my Toonami video was approved by Steve Blum himself. And I couldn't think of a higher honor than that. I mean, that's the man himself. Jokes aside, I don't think Jeff told him who I was, but it's awesome, Steve Blum approved video in my eyes, So yeah, that's season 6. I'm pretty happy with the current era. I think It's been some of my better stuff, and I look forward to keeping up the momentum. I want to make more stuff. I want to keep this vibe going, you know, have fun, you know, do some cool stuff. Obviously, there will still be some more in-depth analysis videos because I like in-depth analysis. It's very satisfying to make, but it's also been fun to just, you know, be a little looser with things. And yeah, that's the season. That's the videos. Pretty good videos. And let's move on to the Q&A, shall we? First off, a wee man asked what my worst online experience was, but then I told him that I couldn't really give an answer to that. So instead he asks, what's your favorite first-person shooter? I haven't played a ton of first-person shooters, but I would say my favorite is probably Half-Life. Never played the sequel, even though it's probably better, but yeah, I do really like the original Half-Life from what I've played of it. It's a great game. Reese Puffy asks, have you ever considered making any videos on Zelda games? Have I considered them? I've been considering making Zelda videos ever since I've made this channel, to be honest with you. Like, it's always been a thought, you know, but I've obviously never actually made a Zelda video, and that's for a few reasons. Mainly, they're just big games, there's a lot to talk about, but also they're very important games to me personally, so they're difficult to write about in that way. But I do have a few Zelda related ideas in mind currently, some of which are not on a specific game, but you know, something like Majora's Mask is always something I've wanted to cover in some way, and I think if I were to cover a single game, Majora is probably going to be the first one. What's the funniest music genre name? This is a bit of a tough question because I would consider myself a weird, rate your music genre connoisseur. I quite enjoy how ridiculous some of those subgenres, microgenres can get. And there are some very funny names out there. Baggy is a great example. That's probably my favorite example, but you know, there's so many other ones. Squee is one that I saw the other day. Futuristic swag is another one of the funniest ones, I think. But then there are some that's funny only because if you walked up to a random person and were like, hey, are you into math rock? Are you into crust punk? They'll be like, what the hell are you talking about? So stuff like that is funny. I also think emo violence is a very funny name for a genre, even though it, you know, the definition makes sense. You know, power violence and emo, but you know, emo violence is just a funny word. But yeah, I could talk all day about funny music genre names. Oh, and how could I forget pig? Yeah. Oh, and shit gaze. Shit gaze is funny too. That one's awesome. Will you play Mr. Bones for the Sega Saturn? Sure, I guess, why not? I mean, I'm open to any kinds of Sega Saturn experiences. And finally, did you frolf today? No, unfortunately, I did not play frolf today. Never have. Never have. Maddie asks, when does the Rowe show launch? I hate to break it to you, but Adult Swim canceled it. They said it was too offensive, so... Pack Jeff asks, interested at all in giving Metaphor ReFantazio a shot? Absolutely. I already have it. I bought it on Steam. It's in my Steam library. I just haven't played it yet. You know, making the Toonami video. I'm in college. I gotta do that. But yeah, I want to play it probably once, you know, the semester is over this month. I'm probably gonna freaking dive into Metaphor, you know, really sink my teeth into it because it looks awesome, and a friend of mine was gassing it up, so I'm like, I gotta play this, so, you know, I will play it. Whether there will be like a video about it, I don't freaking know. I don't know. I don't know. It's a big game, I don't know. But, maybe I'll play it and be like, oh my god, I have to talk about it. I guess we'll find out. When's the Persona 1 review? Since you're so into graphic design, what's your favorite movie poster of all time? Great question. I never really thought about this before. There's definitely a lot of movie posters that strike me as oh wow, that looks awesome. But I've never actually thought about my favorite is. I literally have the My Neighbor Totoro poster framed and hung up on my wall, so that's kind of an easy choice. Obviously, it's not a super graphic design answer, but I just love the image and the logo above it. It's such a pleasant image. I do really like it. But other than that, I really like the Fargo poster with how it's crocheted or knitted. It's a really cool looking poster. But I also really love the wall poster. That one's awesome. But in terms of a graphic design answer, I really like posters that are a logo and a really cool piece of iconography to go along with it. So I'm talking Suspiria, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Full Metal Jacket. Shin Godzilla is also pretty dope. I haven't seen most of those movies, but yeah, those are probably some of my favorite posters. Similar to the last question, favorite video game cover art. That's another good question that I haven't really thought about as much, but upon thinking about it, I really love the Kingdom Hearts covers, especially the first one here. It's holographic, it's shiny, it's just I just love the artwork here. Just the Kingdom Hearts illustrations are pretty amazing. But apart from that, the Earthbound fanboy in me does really love the Mother 2 box, just that pure red box with that logo is amazing. I love that box. And I also really like this cover for Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. This is some box art that I've always really liked. And also the Chrono Trigger box is unmatched. I mean, this is iconic. This is awesome. You got the Akira Toriyama artwork, and it's just such a good image. So very classic, very iconic. I definitely love this one a lot. One of my favorites for sure. When's the Persona 2 review, Rowe? Benson Dimension asks, other than Persona, what's your favorite type of style/graphical aesthetic in video games? I really love Wind Waker's art style. I think that is it's so good. It's so whimsical. It's aged very well. It's very timeless. The cell shading is so nice. Just all the designs, the characters, the illustrations, the text, the wind graphics and stuff. It's super cool. Love it. Both the original and HD, I think they both look fantastic. And like I said, they'll just continue to age well, I think. And on the flip side, least favorite style. I don't really know. I guess I don't really like, or I don't really gravitate towards a lot of a lot of early to mid 2010s realistic graphics that are very dark, dull, kind of muddy. I definitely don't really gravitate towards graphics like that. I guess that'd be my answer. When's the collab with the Organ Wise guys? Dude, that would be incredible. If the Organ Wise guys actually reached out and wanted to do a collab of some kind, I would absolutely do it. You have no idea. That would be so funny. Just think about it. There's this video from the Rainforest Cafe with Ted Nivison, and the frog mascot. Like that could be me and Hardy Hart, you know what I'm saying? That could be me and Hardy Hart, you know, just hanging out, you know what I'm saying? Like that would be awesome. So if you work for the Oregon Wise Guys, which I'm pretty sure they still exist, it doesn't seem like they ever gave up. But if you're watching this, I'm serious. I will work with you, straight up. Not even a joke. I will do it. Rose.mov asks, who or what inspired the current Rowe style? I talked about it a bit in the look back portion of this video, but you know, Drew Gooden, Eddie Burback, especially, like even his second channel, Burback with his brother. Like as of late, they've just been making these very thoughtful videos that are still entertaining, but you know, like have a point to them. Like Eddie's newest video about, you know, getting rid of his phone. Fantastic video. Loved it. It makes you think, but like he still made it entertaining. Like I really like what those guys have been doing, because it is very casual. It's still funny. It's fun to watch, but like there's a point. And I really like that. But a more broad answer, I think, would just be like over the past couple of years, while I still like video essay content, like don't get me wrong, I still love the style. You know, I've branched out and gotten into a lot of like just more comedic channels that I just watch for fun. You know, it's nothing super deep, it's just a good time. And you know, maybe that's had some like residual effect to where like I personally don't want to make videos that are super dry and like more serious. And also with someone like Eddie Burback or Drew Gooden, they have a lot of personality that they put into their videos that are more distinctive, and I like that. I think that would be nice to have in my own videos. I was kind of playing with that a bit in the Persona 5 video, but with that being very long, more analytical, I'm not sure if it showed through. And also, you yourself, Rose, have like influenced my videos in some ways, because again, you are being very, you know, I guess analytical and thoughtful with what you say. It's very passionate. It's sometimes a bit sentimental, but like I don't feel, but like your videos are still like fun to watch. They have that kind of casual edge to where you're making some jokes. It feels like a good time, but it can still hit you with that emotional core. And I can say the same about people that have influenced your videos, like Hazel. Hazel is probably an influence on the current style. Not super overtly, but she has videos where she's just, you know, talking about something she likes. And, you know, it's nothing super crazy. Like, this isn't me being like anti-intellectual, because that's stupid and dumb. But like, you know, it can be nice to not be so serious and be so this and that about it. You know, it's like it's not that deep. I think there's room to have some fun, and I think people like you, people like Hazel, people like Eddie Burback have that quality, and that's really just what has been the influence on this. So bottom line, personal, thoughtful, but fun at the same time. That's what I'm trying to do. Can you give a shout out to your good friend Rose.mov? Well, I kind of already did, but yeah, subscribe to Rose.mov. They make fire videos about whatever they want. The anime films video, lost Sonic locations, certified bangers. Although I gotta say, 6 months, come on, you gotta get cracking on some new videos. I'm starving over here, you know what I'm saying? Whirly says, I absolutely love the new style of vid you've been making. Sorry Toonami isn't doing too hot. First of all, I appreciate it. And yeah, Toonami has not been it hasn't been hitting it hasn't been hitting the algorithm. People aren't seeing this one, which is disappointing. But there's nothing I can do. You can't really predict this stuff. But they go on to ask, any plans on making more vids about Sonic in the future? I think with your current style, you could make something banger. Yeah, I'll definitely probably go back to Sonic at some point. I've had a particular idea that I think is pretty good. I think going forward, especially considering what I've said about the Persona 3 Reload review, about how I don't really just want to make like small, mundane reviews of games. I might like review Sonic games in bulk and talk about them. But even something like honestly, after you ask this question, I think like Shadow would be a good game to make a video about in this current era. I feel like that could be funny. Because I don't hate that game. I actually like Shadow the Hedgehog, so that could be fun. But like even something like Sonic 06 with the changing tides regarding that game, and just like Sonic culture online in general, just things have changed so much. And I've never played Sonic 06, and I think it could be pretty interesting to like play it for the first time and just like talk about the context of it or something, because people are not as harsh on it as they used to be, and that is very interesting. And I've grown up for so many years being told it's a terrible game. That's like lodged into my mind, so actually playing it would be interesting. I would love to do that. Also, when are you going to talk about the original Persona games? Who put you up to this? Who put you up to this? Who put you up to this? This is a conspiracy. You people are after me, aren't you? Well, it's not happening. It's not happening. It'll happen when it happens. And finally, Lucky Lane asks, have you seen live action One Piece? It's surprisingly good despite it all. I have not seen live action One Piece, but my friend Josue has, and he thought it was good as well. But it's just kind of funny because I'll be talking to him about, stuff from like East Blue, and he's like, oh yeah, I saw that in the live action show, and I'm like, no. Because like, I mean, my gut reaction to it when I see it is like, no, I don't want to have anything to do with this. But if it's good, it's good. I don't really have any interest in watching it, but if it's able to expose this story to a new audience, then that's cool. I can't really complain about that, but at the same time, this isn't Oda's vision. Okay, this is not what he conceived. Do you have a favorite Japanese mascot character? I assume you mean stuff that isn't like a show or a game, because like in that case I could say like Sonic or Pikachu or Sailor Moon. I got Sailor Moon right here. Look at that. So I assume you mean like omnipotent mascots, like brand mascots. And in that case, I do like Sanrio. I do. I think they're very cool characters. I'm not sure what my like favorites are, but I like Karopi a lot. He's cool. I have a little cinema roll. I think, yeah, cinema roll. Yeah, cinema roll on my desk right here. A little ceramic thing, very nice. So she watches me all day. But I also really like Pochiko. He has a very cool design. But since I know Sanrio is a very basic answer, I also really like Domo-kun. Domo-kun's a classic. I have this little Batman Domo-kun plush. I don't remember where I got this. I've had this for years. But yeah, this is a pretty awesome. Pretty cool. Look at him. What's he doing? What's he doing? He's awesome. But one thing with Japanese mascots I really like is just going into like a Japanese like grocery store or market and looking in the snack aisle, everything has a mascot. Like all of the snacks have a mascot, and it's awesome. Like I love seeing all the different characters on the different snacks. Like it's just so cool. Why can't we have any fun over here? Like come on, these guys have all these fun characters on their food, and we have nothing. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this Q&A segment. I really appreciate everybody who sent in a question, and yeah, that's been season 6, man. It's like I said, it's crazy to say, but you know, like I don't have too many updates to give other than just I'm just gonna keep going, keep making videos, hopefully make some more videos this time, this season. Season 7, oh my god, pretty soon we'll be at season 10. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I have some good ideas in mind. I have some good ideas. I always have good ideas, but it's a matter of making those ideas come to life. That's the hard part. That's the part that matters. And I'm gonna be doing that. But yeah, aside from that, I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate everybody who's watched this past year, past 6 years, pretty much however long you've been watching. I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be here without you guys. And yeah, I'll see you next season.